So I spent 25 days in the Open Road Challenge, a world without quests, without POIs, without buildings of any kind, and this is how it went. The only mark of humanity that exists is a lonely road leading through the wilderness. Some would say it's impossible to survive, but I know better. Over these 25 days, I would get my hands on an AK-47, an iron spear, and even a mini bike while fighting off the hordes of zombies at my door. So stick around and find out how. Thank you so much for joining me on my adventure, and now, let's get into it. Day 1 started began the same way that all 7 Days to Die playthroughs begin, completing a quest that has you picking up sticks, picking up rocks, and strapping them together. Once the beginning quest is over, we start making our way to the trader, and oh yeah, there aren't any. Or any POIs. Or buildings at all. This is going to be fun. Once my small existential crisis was over, I created a game plan for the first few days. The first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do exploring. For the first few days, that is all that we're doing is just exploring because we need to find bags, we need to find cars, anything we can loot, which in this playthrough, there's very little we can. After finishing the first quest, I was awarded 4 skill points, so I took some time to decide how I wanted to spend them. Upgrading a skill means you're more likely to find magazines for that category, and since any points I spend are permanent, since there are no traders to sell me a forgotten elixir, I took my time. And then, I finally decided. Master Chef to help me unlock better food, salvage operations to hopefully get me that all-important wrench so I can take apart cars, lockpicking to get me closer to the forge and workbench, and finally, machine gunner. The pipe machine gun will be the best gun I can make early on, and that perk will help me find ammo for it. Now that all the early game stuff has been taken care of, I was off, looking for cars, trash, nests, and zombies. I soon after found my first car, looted it, and marked it on the map for future reference. I kinda wish I could take it apart now, but I need a wrench for that, and in previous attempts of this challenge, I knew it could easily take several weeks to unlock the crafting recipe or to find a wrench and loot. Next, I got my first loot bag. The loot was okay, but I didn't expect anything else. My level is really low, and you only start finding the good stuff as you level up. While wandering, I took some time to gather some sticks and grass to make my first 1.0 armor set, Primitive Armor. It provided a small amount of defense, which will help protect me for now, but I did find it a bit funny looking. How do I look? I look like Scarecrow from Batman. Look at me. Oh, I look menacing. What is up with that hood? Also, I like how my idea of protection for my front is just like half a dozen sticks. I don't know what I'm thinking in this world, thinking that's what I need to be wearing, but you know what? It is what it is. At this point, I had been looting for only a few in-game hours, finding a few magazines, bullets, and duct tape, useful stuff that would help out a ton. After a bit, I then saw another car. Naturally, I went to go loot it, and, no freaking way. No way I just found a wrench. I was joking earlier when I said, hey, why don't you just give me a wrench? Yeah, remember me saying how finding a wrench could easily take several weeks? Forget I ever said that. Apparently wrenches are so common now that I found it on day 1. I promise, I'm happy about this, I promise. The rest of the day was much of the same, looting cars, trash, and nests, and by the end of the day, I'd gathered enough resources to make a pipe machine gun and a pipe pistol. I crafted some building blocks and ladders, made myself a survival safety tower, patent pending, and spent the night looking down on the zombies that definitely wanted me over for dinner, and not in the good way. Morning arose on day 2, and I came down from my nest of safety. After saying hola to the neighbors, I harvested my first deer of the run, though I didn't keep the meat, just the leather. All I can make out of meat right now is charred meat, and while it gives 10 food, it takes away 5 water, which in a world where it is next to impossible to find a steady source of clean water early on, means meat right now is basically useless. My best food source right now is actually raw eggs. They get 5 food each, they don't make me thirsty, and they are pretty common, so I make sure to loot each nest I come across. As I continued looting, I started gathering as many scrap polymers as I could get my hands on, and it was around this point that my recording software decided it wanted to be quirky and fun by moving everything slightly to the right. Don't worry, it's temporary. Reason why I was gathering scrap polymers is because 1.0 had brought many awesome changes to the game, but in this challenge, one would be more important than most, the dew collector. It didn't require a filter to craft anymore, but now without a filter it only gave murky water. Once I got my hands on a cooking pot, however, I could purify it and have an infinite source of clean drinking water. That would be a project for much later on though, but I wanted to be prepared. Following the road eventually led me to the border between the forest and the wasteland, which provided a perfect opportunity to explain the most important rule of the challenge, which takes this whole thing to the next level. The rule that pertains to entering new biomes is every 25 days we move to the next biome. So the first 25 days, we are in the forest biome. The next 25, we are in the desert. The next 25 is the snow. The next 25 is the wasteland. And I cannot enter another biome until that allotted time frame. And when I leave a biome, I am not allowed to come back. This rule makes it so every 25 days, there will be a jump in difficulty when I move from my current biome to the next. In addition to the extra challenge of dealing with stronger zombies, this rule adds an extra layer of difficulty because you can only make one trip to the next biome. You can only take what you can carry, and when you leave, you can't go back. The rest of day 2 was spent looting, as was the plan. I needed to loot as much as possible as quickly as possible because hordes in this challenge were changed from appearing every 7 days to appearing every 5, meaning that I only had 3 more days before the first horde, and by then I would need a base, decent weapons, and some resources to get me through it. That night, I spent my time in the top of safety tower number 2, looking down on all the peasants that couldn't even afford their own safety tower. I spontaneously decided to start shooting a big boy I saw, and when he started coming at me, I, with my smooth brain, decided to jump off the conveniently placed ladder and spray my leg. I still took down Bargain Mar Santa, but the shame of what had occurred still stuck with me for a while. Day 3 was the last day I wanted to spend looting before I started working on my eventual forest base, so I went all out. I looted every single thing I possibly could, shooting every zombie within my sight, and I even managed to pull this off. Oh, that might be a new record. While in the process of grabbing anything not nailed down, I figured out my favorite way to take out the zombies. First you shoot them from afar, then run up like mad and stab them in the face. It was effective, and honestly it was pretty fun, so I just kept doing it. While looting throughout the day, I was also keeping my eyes out for a good base location. Ideally, I wanted my base small, elevated off the ground, and near both water and a road. There were several decent spots, but one stuck out, a river that pushed further inland and made an interesting feature on the map. It checked all the boxes, so I placed down a land claim block, some storage chests, and started deciding exactly how I wanted to build this base. I was still building when night came, but I was starting to run a bit low on resources and I grew bored. So I went night hunting with nothing but a tier 1 survival bow and a dream. Night hunting would quickly become a ritual of mine, but for now, I'll just enjoy this new challenge until sunrise. The morning of day 4 came, and I kept building out the beginnings of my base until my first wandering horde showed up. Not wanting to waste the opportunity for XP and loot, I quickly jumped down and took them on. After I put the last of them down for bed, I cut some trees and made some building blocks. I used these blocks to build out the platform my base would be standing on, and I upgraded those blocks to wood for now. While mocking up the location of my bridge to land, I started to run into the first signs of dehydration. The only options for me right now to fix this were to kill zombies and hopefully get something drinkable in a loot bag, or drink straight from the river, which would hurt me and possibly give me dysentery. I decided on the river as drinks and loot bags aren't guaranteed, and I hope to get lucky and not get sick. But unfortunately, this happened. Don't give me dysentery. One more. Ah, damn. Just my luck. The last sip and it gets me sick. I was looking at my base, mentally calculating how I wanted things to look, and then my first airdrop showed up. I wasted no time rushing to loot it, and when I opened it up, I was greeted with the sight of wrench number 2, which was a subtle slap in the face. The wrench did nothing wrong, it was just what it represented. The remaining loot was a bit better, including something to eat, something to drink, and most importantly, a craft magazine bundle, which gave me 6 magazines and various crafting skills. Throughout the rest of the day, I kept building up my base while trying to make it look a bit more interesting than just a plain wooden box. I was furnishing my base with some storage when night came again, and I went out on another hunt, looking for XP, loot, and scrap polymers. Day 5 was here, and with it came the knowledge that tonight the horde would come for me, so I needed to finish my base as soon as possible. I was dehydrated again and hadn't had anything to drink since the red tea I got from the airdrop, so I risked drinking from the lake again, only to get dysentery for the second time in as many days. It's always on the last one. Whatever. I didn't let that stop me though, so I pressed on with the base construction, cycling between building and gathering wood. It went on like this until about 1300 hours, and by then I felt pretty confident with the base that I had constructed. After finishing the base, I once again felt dehydrated, once again decided to drink from the river, and once again got dysentery. You'd think I liked being sick with how often I do this to myself. The rest of the day was spent gathering wood and stone, as building the base had made me run out and I would need more for repairs. I continued farming until a couple hours before the horde appeared, and just before I came back to base, I had scrapped a couple cars and managed to make a single Molotov cocktail with the gasoline I'd gotten. I then spent the remaining time reorganizing my inventory and making sure that all my weapons were easily accessible. I also decided to make a bunch of barbed wire and place it on my bridge, hoping to slow the zombies down a bit. It wasn't much, but hopefully it would be enough. With my tier 1 pipe guns, barely 2 stacks of 7.62 ammo, and a will to live, I took on my very first horde. Right off the bat, I knew something was wrong. Most of the zombies weren't coming up to the bridge, opting to attack my foundations instead. Or they just breaking the area below me. Stop! Stop that. I worried that my base being built in the middle of the river was causing pathfinding issues, and if that was the case, I would have to waste more time building a completely new base in a different area with resources I didn't have. But a thought occurred to me, and I latched onto it like a drowning man being thrown a life jacket. I think I might have made this more difficult for them by adding on all this. Right here, hold on, let me see if maybe removing one or two of these helps. After removing the barbed wire, my relief was instant as I stopped hearing breaking wood and the zombies started steadily making their way up to me. Reasonably fixed, I think. Nope. No. Nope. Ah. Oh god. Okay. Back up. Ah. I don't want to waste ammo, but Stab. Everything seemed to be going great until I ran out of 7.62 ammo. I was forced to switch to my pistol, which wasn't good. It didn't do much damage and it took a very long time to reload, allowing the zombies to pile up. I eventually had to use my single Molotov to buy time to reload, but more zombies just kept coming. The beautiful morning of day 6 rose, and I had never felt more alive. I thanked my base for keeping me in one piece, and then I went outside and looked down at all of the loot. Okay, look at all those bags! Ooh, that's gonna be fun. I was very excited to start tearing my way through the bags, but first I needed to see how much damage was done to my precious base. The fact that my base was still standing was close to a miracle. They had done damage to every pillar and had actually broken a couple. I decided I'd make some drastic changes to how my base was built, but I couldn't wait on the loot bags any longer. So before I repaired anything, I dove into my riches, and the very first bag held exactly what I wanted. Alright, I survived. My base is still standing, barely, and we'll just see what goes on from there. Oh, yes! Yes! Right off the bat. 2 Forge Ahead bugs. Oh my god, that is huge. I was getting plenty of crafting magazines as well as some ammo, food, drinks, and other miscellaneous parts, but now I had a mission. I took all my loot inside and then crafted my very first dew collector. I would still need to unlock the forge before being able to purify the water I got, but I would eventually need to craft a few dew collectors anyway, so I might as well start now. Now that all my loot was squared away and my dew collector was collecting dew, I decided to do some housekeeping, mainly repairing the damage done to my base. Because the place was so small, it didn't take too much time to repair, though I didn't want to upgrade it just yet. Now that I had a semi-stable base to return to, I wanted to go exploring more of this world of mine. The world was my oyster, and I was an oyster farmer or something. I don't know how the phrase goes, but it's close enough. So I grabbed something to drink and headed out on my quest. Only I didn't get too far before this happened. Good food source for me. At least until I find one more food book. Oh shit. Reload. Oh shit. Oh shit. Come on. Holy shit. Okay, we're gonna run back for just a moment. Oh, explosives, nice. What's kind of funny is, other than this encounter, I won't see a single other dog pack in the forest, not one. I have no idea why this one randomly decided to just appear, but I'm thankful it is the first and last time I will see them. Now that I was thoroughly damaged and infected, I decided to head back to base to rest up and heal. It was only once I got back to base that I wondered why I didn't use my machine gun against the dogs and opted for my slower and weaker pistol. I continued to wonder this while I took the painkiller and honey to fix my condition. Immediately after, I headed back out on my adventure. though maybe a bit slower this time. During my travels, I uncovered a good chunk of the map, and what I hoped to do was uncover the entire forest area before day 25, but I wasn't sure I'd be able to. I continued to shoot zombies, then stab them, my favorite pastime, and loot any vehicles I came across. Jesus, I'm trying to get... Oh, wow. You, look a little rough. How long are you gonna roll? Oh, and you're gone. And shortly after this, I found my third wrench. I think it's just funny at this point. I wandered and looted on autopilot, not really thinking about what I was doing and just keeping the pace going. That is, until I found this. Makes sense, right? You harvest a chicken, you get eggs sometimes. Loot! Ooh. 2 vehicle books, leather, painkillers, shotgun shells, and a treasure map. Even though it was getting closer to nightfall, I really wanted to go after the treasure. It was my first quest since I woke up in the middle of the woods, and I wanted to complete it. So I made my way up to where it was buried, dug it up, and this is what I found. Night fell, and I jumped at the chance to go on another night hunt. It's the perfect blend of fun and terrifying, so I'll keep doing this each night as long as I can. When the morning of day 7 hit, I started the day by doing my normal searching habits, checking trash, taking apart the occasional shopping cart, and killing zombies by shooting them and then stabbing them in the face. After stabbying that zombie, I started to have some issues with finding more drinkables again, so I had to drink out of the lake. But this time, I prepared by taking a vitamin so I wouldn't get dysentery. See, I learn from my mistakes sometimes. I was looking forward to the days where I would have a forge and infinite clean water to drink, but I was still 1 Forge Ahead book away. I was thinking of wandering around to find one, when... 1 aloe cream? I would need 2 more to be able to make a first aid bandage, but first aid bandages are rare enough that would be worth it to keep. The airdrop decided to drop in the middle of an island, so I had to swim, which resulted in this kerfuffle. I feel pretty good. I might need to take the time to make a better machine gun when I get a chance. Holy shit. Can I shoot you? I need air, I need air, I need air. Your distance. Okay, my man. We need to go. We need to go. Come on. Get out of the water. Oh, I hate being in the water. I hate swimming. I really hate swimming in this game. But it was all worth it. Okay. Please, 1 Forge Ahead book. Yes! I can make a forge! Ah! I wasted no time running back to base to make the forge, knowing that it would be a game changer in more ways than one. Though ironically, after searching for so long for a single Forge Ahead book, I found this along the way. Yes, I got a blue one. Okay, what do we got? Ah! 2 Forge Ahead books. Amazing. Yeah, so we'll do it there. Beautiful. Actually beautiful. I quickly made 2 pots and 2 grills, then started cooking up some fresh water and grilled meat. After that, I then crafted a second dew collector to double my incoming water. With my water troubles finally letting up, I could focus on upgrading my base with the forged iron I was now able to craft. With it, I made an iron hatch, which is a big upgrade to the wooden hatches I had, and while installing it, I accidentally attracted a wandering horde. Come on. Oh, it's a horde. In the morning, I improved my foundation by upgrading the wood to cobblestone and changing my 6-pillar design to a solid design with no gaps. A necessary change seeing how the last horde left my base barely standing. I decided to start taking some cars apart for gasoline so I can make some Molotovs for later. And after coming back to base for a quick drop off, another wandering horde appeared out of nowhere. Hold on, me too. Nice. What do you got? Ooh, more armor parts and some gloves. Ooh. I will be taking those and seeing what they do in a moment. And you drop me some more loot. Salvage. Okay, this is nice. I'm excited now. Nothing else interesting happened on day 8, and that night I did some night hunting to get XP and hunt some deer. Though one zombie did get a little too close for comfort. You. Okay. Run, run, run. Now walk, walk, walk. Nice and slowly. In a different direction. Stop. Oh, God, stop. Oh, God. The morning of day 9, I spent wandering in the hopes of finding enough scrap polymer to make another dew collector. Once back at base, I crafted Dew Collector 3 and placed it with the others to get me more of that liquid gold. Now that my water issue was no longer an issue, I started to think about the future and what kind of problems I would run into in other biomes. One big issue would be food, since places like the desert aren't exactly packed with animals. Since I already had a bit of rotten flesh for the blocks, I went out and gathered the remaining nitrate powder and clay I needed to make my first 3 plot blocks. I would need many more in the future, but for now, I would work with what I had. After that little adventure, and seeing as how I have the attention span of a toddler, my mind decided that now would be a great opportunity to throw together a screamer spawner out of campfires instead of farming for more farm plots. In 7 Days to Die, there is a mechanic called heat, and what that means is anything you do that either produces flame or anything you do that creates noise, that will add on to your heat value. But what happens is if your heat gets high enough, it will suddenly drop a certain amount and then a screamer will spawn. And screamers are very useful in this scenario because of course when a screamer screams, they spawn a bunch of zombies, and when you kill them, you have a 15% chance of getting loot. Now in past attempts of this challenge, a screamer spawner was incredibly effective, but what I didn't realize is that in 1.0, they changed how heat works. So when normally I would have half a dozen screamers spawning, this time all I got was one single screamer. Oh, and there's a screamer already. Hold on, let me turn on the other ones. And it would take me a few more times of running the spawner to realize that wouldn't be changing anytime soon. That night, nothing crazy happened. I did some more zombie hunting, got some XP, searched some trash, and harvested a deer or two. Day 10 came, and I decided to try to run the screamer spawner again in the hopes that the one screamer from yesterday was a fluke. I spent some time cutting down some trees for fuel, starting up campfires, and just like last time, one screamer spawned right when I finished lighting the last campfire, and then after fighting whatever zombie spawns, I just sat near the spawner in the hopes that another screamer would appear. At that point, I heard the airplane signaling an airdrop, and feeling demoralized about my spawner, I left the campfires burning while I went to go get the drop. Not expecting much, but then what I found changed the run forever. All right, what do we got? Okay, 114. Ooh, range mod bundle. That might be useful. I will take it. I'm not gonna open it just yet, but I am gonna open up this. Yes! I can make a workbench. Let's go. With this, I could craft armor, ammunition, mods, advanced weapons, vehicles, and pretty much anything else my heart desired. With the workbench unlocked, I finally felt like I was making good progress and had a chance to majorly level up my abilities and equipment. I rushed back to base and immediately set about making a workbench. While waiting on the workbench to craft, I made a tier 4 pipe machine gun to replace my tier 3 and put my scope and bipod mod on it while throwing the other mod on my pipe pistol. And finally, day 10, I have myself a workbench. I wasn't able to do too much with it as it was getting late and the Horde was almost here, but I was able to make a couple pipe bombs as a backup in case the zombies managed to pile up, and I made a pair of tier 2 commando gloves, which gave me an extra 10% range damage. I then spent the remaining time before the Horde arrived looking through the different 1.0 armor sets and seeing what they did. Before too long, the Horde was here, and it was at this point I realized just how powerful I had become. Oh, one shot, one kill. That was nice, okay. I'm one-shotting these guys in the head, yes! Headshot after headshot, I killed most of my enemies instantly before they even got close to my fighting position. The scope allowed me pinpoint precision, and the gloves I crafted at the last second made each bullet more deadly. On the rare occasion where the zombies would pile up while I was repairing my weapon, the pipe bomb took care of them all with ease, while the location of my base meant the zombies had to swim across the river to get to me, slowing them down and pacing them out. Oh, hold on. Just chill there for just... hold on. I'm just gonna gonna yeet. Back up. There we go. Wow, you took that shot to the face like a champ, girl. Woo! Everything lined up perfectly. The Horde didn't know it hit it, and before I knew it, it was over. Look at that. Flawless. Actually flawless. That is what I'm talking about. The upgrades I made to my fighting position held up beautifully, and my foundations hadn't attracted any zombie attention. I walked outside, cleared out the stragglers, and looked upon the treasures I had earned. Oh my god! I cleared out my inventory to make space, and then I started looting. Grab it all, yeah. I'm seeing a couple things I'm liking. I was on autopilot for the most part, not reading many of the magazines I'd picked up, but one in particular caught my eye. Okay, normal magazines, normal armor. Fully automatic fire is more accurate with each shot fired, cool. I can make purified water! Hold on, I'm writing that down. Purified water is the best drinkable in the game, giving a whopping 60 hydration, curing dysentery, giving stamina regen, and giving efficient digestion. This alone is an incredible find, but it wasn't the only incredible thing to come out of those loot bags. Oh, Jesus. Okay, one more of those. I can make a mini bike now. I'm just gonna skip. We're just gonna skip the bike, and we're just gonna go straight. I can make a quality 3 machine gun. With a tier 3 AK-47, I would be unstoppable. It would require machine gun parts though, but I was confident I could find some. And unlocking the mini bike reminded me that I no longer had to walk everywhere, meaning the days of me spending hours on end trekking to the other side of the map were finally over. After putting up all my other loot, I took the time to look through the armors I had gathered during the Horde, swapping out my awful primitive armor for the much better options I now had. Once I finished looking through the armors, I was tired from so much hardcore gaming, and so I called it a day and started playing again the next morning. But this time, I had an unexpected visitor. This is Mango. She's a Labradoodle. She's rotten. Mango lets me bully her, and I appreciate that for her. All right. Bye, Mango. After my cuddly child left, I started my day by looking through all the different mods I could make. Okay, let's start with one armor pocket mod, one fireman's axe mod, which I might actually make 2 because it seems pretty cheap. I can see if I can put it on my stone axe and maybe save the other one for my pickaxe if possible. Once my mods were on my tools and armor, it was time to leave the base and gather some resources. I needed to make some purified mineral water, and for that I needed coal and flowers. So I left the base, making sure to say hi to the neighbors, only to realize that walking was for peasants and I am now 7 days to die royalty. So I turned around with the intention to craft a bike, but came to the realization that I was still poor and had no wheels for my bike. So I moved out with the new goal to take apart cars in the hope of getting a couple wheels. It was only after having taken apart half a dozen cars that I googled why I couldn't find wheels, only to realize that I could craft them myself with the resources I already had back at base. I was able to craft 3 wheels, more than enough for a vehicle. I decided to make the bicycle instead of the mini bike for now because I was lacking gasoline, and since mini bikes tend to need this stuff, a bicycle would have to do. I spent most of that night looking through all the things I'd unlocked, keeping a list of the different armors and weapons I wanted to craft when I had the resources to craft them. Morning came on day 12 and I was itching to go exploring after spending all of day 11 scrapping cars and looking through crafting recipes. So I hopped on my brand new bike and drove off in the direction of an unexplored area, with a goal in mind to find loot, but more specifically, leather. All the armors I wanted to craft required a bunch of leather, so I was on the lookout for rabbits and snakes, as deer mostly didn't spawn during the day. I kept exploring until I hit the desert, which of course I can't enter, then I turned around and went back to base, making sure to purify the water from the dew collectors. After some thought, I crafted the nerdy goggles for extra XP. Since it was only tier 1, it was only an extra 2% XP, but any extra experience is never a bad thing. Night wasn't far off, and with it came the opportunity for more leather. So I hopped on my bike and headed off in search of some deer. Shortly after, I found my first deer, but in the process of shooting it, I made a small mistake. Thank you. Okay. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Throughout the night, I managed to find many more deer, with one basically materializing in front of me. After hitting this sick shot, I went back to base with 34 leather and a ton of meat. The morning of day 13 arrived, and I saw I was only a short bit of coal away from the last wheel I needed to craft the mini bike. So I took the time to go gather it, and shortly after, crafted the beautiful thing that is the mini bike. It was at this point when I heard an airplane signaling that another airdrop was coming in. Once again, it decided to drop in the middle of the water as the game is sensing I'm having too much fun and wanted to ruin my morning. The loot was mediocre, but it did have a farming hat, which made seed drops from plants more likely. Since I found the farmer hat and had armor on my mind, I decided to craft a couple new pieces. The nerdy outfit gives a chance to get 2 crafting points when using a crafting magazine, and the ranger boots give 30 extra stamina. Also, quick question, have they made changes to the wandering hordes? Because this horde outside was massive. Oh, wait, that is a wandering horde. Come on. Wow, this is a big horde. This has to be at least 2 hordes. Wow, you guys are strong. Jesus. I did my nightly ritual of hunting for deer and zombies until daybreak. The entirety of day 14 was spent mining coal and nitrate powder to craft gunpowder. I wanted as much 7.62 ammo as humanly possible so I wouldn't run out in the middle of the horde. That night I went hunting as usual, though I focused more on exploring areas I hadn't been to yet than actually shooting zombies. It was pretty relaxing, like a nice nighttime stroll. Day 15 meant another horde was approaching and I was feeling the pre-horde jitters. So to make myself feel better, I spent the day preparing by crafting up as much ammunition as possible, upgrading my walkway to cobblestone, and making a few backup grenades. I was doing anything I could think of to prepare, and so I decided to put some wood spikes on my roof to deal with any birds that may or may not spawn. And while doing this, I was visited by a very unwelcome guest. There we go. That's all I need. Is that a fucking screamer? Hold on. No. F that. I ain't dealing with no screamer right now, girl. There you are. Damn. Okay, let me run around. Why did a screamer just spawn? How the hell does the heat system work now? There's another one. Nope, nope. While fighting off a screamer horde and racing against the clock, I was feeling the pressure to beat this horde before nightfall. And just when I thought things couldn't get worse. Alright, I have a little bit of time before nighttime falls. That's a cop! Okay. Now, feeling more apprehensive than ever, I organized my inventory, making sure to have all my ammunition, whatever heals I had on hand, and freshly repaired weapons. I still didn't feel ready, but by then, it was too late. The horde was here. I noticed a difference immediately. Spiders were spawning, and there were more zombies coming at me all at once. I very quickly felt overwhelmed, and then was forced to use my first pipe bomb. And then my second. And then, I made a mistake that almost got me killed. Hold on. Ow. Burn him. Hold on, let me heal real quick. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Wow, burned way more than I should have. Dog. Okay, hold on, I need to... Okay, you know what? Q. After a while, I started to feel like I was slowly gaining control, bit by grueling bit. And then, it found me. What the f is that? Holy... Okay, you, man. Hell nah. Hell nah. That guy's still alive! What the f was that thing? It came out of nowhere. A creature I had never seen before that shrugged off a grenade like it was nothing. This creature marked an end to the easy hordes that I was enjoying, and brought with it pain. Another demon dog came for me, and it took another grenade and a clip of ammo to put it down. My hatch was badly damaged from the monster, and when I repaired it, I had no time to replace a broken piece. I could only hope that what I had left was enough. The fight kept going, on and on, for what felt like forever. I kept watching my ammunition drop lower and lower, and then, it was over. The morning of day 16 came and I was still alive. Using my pistol, I took care of the remaining zombies, and once I was done, I emptied out my inventory and made my way down to where my prize awaited. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, let's jump in and go. It took me 2 whole in-game hours to gather all my loot, and by the end of it, I had unlocked iron tools, iron sledgehammers, tier 4 armor, and the tier 5 AK-47. As amazing as it was that I had these things unlocked, I didn't get a single machine gun part from the Horde, meaning that for now, I was still stuck with the pipe machine gun. Afterwards, I went to sleep and jumped back on the game the next morning. I took a little bit of time to look back through what I had unlocked, and I found something interesting. Whenever I was playing the game yesterday, and whenever I was going through and looting everything, I heard a noise. And this noise normally shows, hey, you upgraded something, like one of the perk books, to max. And so I was like, okay, which one did I max out? I maxed out Lucky Looter. And it's funny because, of course, when you max out something, it gives you a little extra thing that is added at the end. So like this one right here, Fireman's Almanac, if you get all 7 books, then you sprint longer and you're never encumbered in the burnt forest of the wasteland. But Lucky Looter, if you max it out, enemies have a higher chance to drop loot, which is a 20% increased chance. Now normally, this would be increasing like, let's say 2% or 3% to like 2.5 or like 3.5%. It's not a huge increase, but I'm doing 15%. So now 20% of 15, that's 3. So I have an 18% chance now of getting a loot bag. I feel like that might be taking a little bit too far, but you know what? We're just gonna run with it and we're just gonna see what we can do from there. While still looking through my perk books, the airdrop came, which I had completely forgotten about, and when I searched it, it wasn't very impressive. Once back, I wanted to better light up the inside of my base, so I crafted up an old lantern to spice up the area, and by the light of my new fancy lantern, I made some iron tools, because if I have to break coal with a stone axe one more time, I will lose my mind. Shortly before nightfall, I repaired the damage to the base and organized the random armor pieces I found. During the night, I repaired and upgraded my base until it looked like this, with spikes on the bottom to prevent birds from being caught and dealing unnecessary damage. Day 17, and I realized that many of the cars that I had looted before should have respawned their loot, so I made it my mission to loot each one again. I spent almost the entire day looting vehicles and violating passerby because they looked at me funny. A little while later, I was a bit upset that I hadn't found a single machine gun part. And then, this glorious series of events happened. It's a little unfortunate I didn't find any parts, but granted, I don't know for certain if I can find parts in vehicles. The only parts I ever found were robotic parts, and I found all of them in trash. You would think I would be planning this. Just, oh no, I can't find parts. Let me just search this one random trash on the side of the road. I'm glad I'm recording because I just know that if it wasn't on footage, no one would believe me. I instantly rushed back to base and crafted the beautiful, incredible Tier 1 AK-47. That night, I went on another one of my nightly hunts. I enjoy taking zombies out like this. It's very entertaining. Ah! You were not supposed to run over here. No. Morning arrived on day 18, and I wanted to explore more of the map. I set a waypoint on the other side of some unexplored land about 2 kilometers away, or about 21 football fields to the average American. While on the way, I had a phenomenal recommendation for the 7 Days to Die game devs to take full advantage of. See, I kind of wish I could take these guys apart for rotten flesh as well, but I can see how it would be a bit concerning to be able to harvest like something that used to be a human for fertilizer, pretty much. I can definitely see how that would be a bit problematic for the game. Don't listen to past me, this is a great idea. I wandered for several hours and made it back sometime in the afternoon. I grabbed together some goldenrod and chrysanthemum to make some pure mineral water when I had a question hit me out of nowhere, and Googling the answer made this challenge that much more challenging. Goldenrod flowers can be harvested from goldenrod plants which grow in the forest. They don't grow anywhere else. What about chrysanthemum? Hold on. Which grows in the forest. Okay. Hold on. This meant in order to make mineral water, the best drink in the game, I would have to gather these plants now and farm them throughout the entire 100 Days series. Though it's a good thing I thought about this now rather than after day 25. This is when I also realized that coal doesn't spawn in the desert, so any coal I needed for gunpowder would have to be brought with me. This lit a fire under me, so I ran straight out and started mining for coal, though I did have one very important thing to do first. Okay, I'm gonna chill here for a bit, get my stamina back while I'm doing that. I feel like every pet owner needs to give their pet daily affirmations that they are still perfect in their eyes and that they are good girls or good boys. Pets are the best. While out, I realized that I still had an entire week before I left and that I may have overreacted just a bit. So I decided instead to use the coal I had gathered tonight for the next horde and also spend some time gathering enough nitrate powder to turn it all into gunpowder. Nighttime came and I spent my entire night indoors crafting up ammunition and as many grenades as I could. Day 19 arrived, and with it, the horde anxiety hit early, forcing me to craft ammunition, check and recheck how many grenades I had, and overthink every single thing that I was doing to prepare. I decided the best way to relax was with a muffin, which absolutely worked by the way, until my muffin time was rudely interrupted by an angry Karen at my door. That was a screamer. I'll take advantage of it. Let's go. Yeah. And there's another one. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Take it out. Hello. No. Shoot you in the face. Nice. Afterwards, I decided to make a storage box that was meant to store things that I would be taking with me when I left the forest. Since I can only make one trip and I can't come back, I'll be leaving a lot of stuff behind and I wanted to go ahead and figure out what I would be taking with me in advance. But while in the process of moving stuff over, another 2 screamers spawned. That's a screamer. Alright, let's go. That's 2! I wasn't happy at first with the disturbance, but then I imagined all the loot, and with nothing but greed in my heart, I led them around and let them scream, just imagining the bags I would get. What actually happened is I got trapped inside my base and had to use one of my grenades and some of my precious 7.62 ammo to clear them out. That night, I spent moving stuff over to my take with box until it looked like this. The morning of day 20 saw me out mining iron to let off steam, and gathering plenty of chrysanthemum and goldenrod flowers to make seeds. After which, my head was still filled with plants and farms and dirt and stuff, so I took the time to make a tier 4 farmer's outfit, which increased my chance to get an extra crop by 40%. Once taken care of, I stood in my base, not doing anything else except looking at what I had done and what I could possibly do to give me an edge. After a few minutes of nothing, I did have an idea. So I'm also thinking like this. The tier 1 farmer outfit only gave you a 10% chance of getting an extra crop, whereas the tier 4 gave you a 40% chance. So does that mean that if I were to create a tier 4 pair of preacher gloves, that I would do an extra 40% damage to the undead? That would be huge. Matter of fact, yeah, craft. Let's see. 40% damage to the undead. That's what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. The last few hours before nightfall were stressful in a weird way. It was too early to actually prepare for the fight and too late to go do anything else to pass the time. So I took some time to reorganize my inventory. I spent the rest of the time I had left awkwardly looking around, trying to find anything else that I may have missed or that I'd overlooked, but from what I could see, everything that could be done was done. The die was cast, and the only thing left to do was fight. Let's see what we got. This is what I want to see. One shots. When the horde started, I took a recog. So with the recog and my preacher gloves, I was dealing an incredible extra 90% damage. Plus with my new AK-47, I was mowing through zombies left and right to the point where I felt unbeatable. But the feeling was short-lived. Hold on. Yeet! Oh geez, they're never ending! I mean, that is kind of the point, but still. There were more dogs, more spiders, more ferals, and for the first time during a horde, there were cops. Yeah, we don't want to deal with the cops. The cops are starting to spawn, which is worrying, but I would rather just waste a few bullets on them than try to go for headshots. At this point, I was dealing with cops, demon dogs, ferals, and everything in between, unable to take even a second to compose myself. And the terrifying part is these hordes are the easy ones. Being in the forest didn't increase the difficulty, but once I left, once I entered the desert, things would go from 0 to 100 real quick. For these guys, but it's still tricky to get headshots on them. While I'm repair. While I'm repairing. Yeet! After a while though, I started getting a good feel for how the horde was. I started to feel like I was doing okay. But a quick look at the clock told me I still had several more hours of hell to deal with. That this wasn't over yet. There was a lull. I reloaded, preparing myself for the next wave, and it never came. Did I actually manage to get through the entire horde? This is the 4th horde. Huh! The zombies were gone. Somehow I'd managed to beat this horde before 4 o'clock ever hit. That was awesome. And you know what's even more awesome? This. Look at that. Grab 1 stack of ammo, and this is all that I'm gonna keep on me. It's just this. It's time to start. All I want is machine gun parts if you're able to give them to me, please. The morning sun of day 21 arrived, and from there I picked up the pace, looting, dropping off the loot, using any magazines I could find, the works. Once again, I wasn't paying too much attention to what I was grabbing, just trying to get all the loot out of the water. But then I noticed something while organizing my inventory. Use that, organize. Do I have anything else I can use? I don't need this. I have 4 machine gun parts! Oh my god, that is huge. That is actually huge. I could now make a very powerful AK-47, or I could save up for an assault rifle. Either option would boost my firepower to the extreme, and hopefully it would give me the edge I needed for when I entered the desert. After looting everything, I spent some time seeing what goodies I had unlocked. Okay. Oh, I've maxed out armor, which honestly makes sense because I got a ton of armor books. But yeah, I can make tier 6 armor now. That's awesome. Let's see what else we can do. So harvesting tools, I can make tier 6 iron tools. I can now make a tier 2 nail gun. That'll be useful. Tier 2 ratchet. Don't care about knuckles. A tier 5 bone knife. I've gotten basic electricity, which is awesome because I really needed the generator bank. Really needed the generator bank. And I have gotten traps. Oh, yes. Okay, that is massive. Like massive, massive. That was awesome. That was actually awesome. A lot of this stuff I couldn't craft yet, but it was nice to know that if I had the resources, I could craft them. With day 25 looming and my departure to the desert weighing on me, I decided to finally go on a serious mining trip to get me at least 2 stacks of coal to take with me. I had hoped to get an average of about 2,000 coal per vein. The first vein I checked gave me a little less than that, which was okay as I was right next to another one. I then started mining the second vein, and then I kept mining and kept mining. And then I found more coal, and then more. And then eventually my pick broke and I decided I just had to stop mining. I had gathered in total about 18,000 coal, so I called it a day and headed back home. That night I went on a hunt to find more leather because I was on a mission to make some tier 5 farmer boots, which would massively increase my chances to get seeds from harvesting plants. Gotcha. Yeet. After getting back to base victorious, I quickly crafted them up and put them in my take-with box for safekeeping. Day 22 rolled around and I was still worried about my future with farming plants, so I rode off with a mission to find rotten flesh so I could make more farm plot blocks. I began my search and, ironically, when I wasn't even looking for other loot, I started finding some of the best loot, including 2 pistol parts and an iron spear. While on the road, the airdrop came and gave me another ranged mods bundle, which I gladly took, but this was the best part. I'm gonna open this, and we have forge ahead, wiring, tech planet, and I have the cement mixer. Yes. I'm gonna write that down before I forget. Concrete is the second strongest block in the game, and the fact that I had access to it before I left for the desert meant my next base might actually last its first horde. Once I made it back, I had successfully gathered enough rotten flesh for 15 more plot blocks, which was added to what I had already had, bringing my total to 33 farm plot blocks. My goal was originally 30, so nice. I then started thinking about the iron spear I had found. Spears required so much stamina to use, which was why I didn't choose one to begin with. I was debating leaving the spear in storage box until I realized that throughout all my adventures, I had found 4 of the 7 spear perk books. This convinced me to keep the spear and start leveling up my spear proficiency. After which I went ahead and used the pistol parts to upgrade to an actual pistol. Night was approaching and normally around now I would go hunting, but since we were so close to the end of the forest era, I knew I had to start salvaging as many cars as possible before I left. Gasoline was a rare resource and eventually I would need a lot of it. So I got back on my bike, rode straight back out, and got to work. Okay, let's remove that. And let's head back to base. During the last horde, I had found a few treasure maps, but I decided to ignore it until now, because they can also contain ammo, and I wanted to get more ammo before the final horde. I wasn't expecting much from the buried treasure, but I would very soon be eating my own words. What do we got? Oh shit! 2 machine gun parts! Okay, maybe I should actually check these. And that's what I really need is parts. Ooh. With a newfound interest in the buried treasures, I dug each of the other chests up one by one. Nightfall stopped my efforts, so I went back to my base and went AFK until the morning. Then I went back out and finished digging up the rest of the chests. None were as good as the first, but several had ammunition, and overall they were still decent. The rest of day 24 was the most uneventful day I had experienced yet. Pretty much the entire day I just organized chests, made sure that I had enough ammunition, and at one point I went outside and tried to make a version of a spiral staircase that wasn't a spiral or something. I don't know what I was trying to do, but after doing so much digging and grinding, I was just feeling uninspired that day and I wanted to do something different. That night, however, I got it in my head that I desperately wanted to start making concrete. I have 2 forges and 2 cement mixers going in order to get as much cement made, because I'm realizing once I get into the desert, having extra cement is going to be very useful. Make 55, we'll do 25 here, do 30 here. Got a whole production line going. The big day 25 was finally here, and I was still making concrete. I really needed to stop so I could prepare for the Horde, but I just couldn't bring myself to. And so I kept going until just before nightfall. And by that point, I had crafted almost 2,000 concrete powder. I left myself just enough time to reorganize my inventory and prepare for the next and most important Horde yet. I had new guns, a new spear, 2 rows of ammo, extra heals, and anything else I could think of. Grenades, recog, even beer. None of it was useless in this final battle, where I would be hit with the best that the forest had to offer. Let's go. Don't like the fact that the cops are spitting. Another one! Hold on, I need to make sure that this area around here is repaired. Okay, that's good, that's good. Okay. We're gonna do this. And yeets. Okay, good. No. Nope. Oh, I'm tearing through this ammo. I know I am. Wait. No. Nope. You're not spitting on me today, motherfucker. I eventually just started emptying clip after clip, but no matter how many bullets were sent at them, eventually things started to break down. Repair that and shoot these guys. Quick. Oh, hold on. Something broke. Feral after feral, biker after biker, dog after dog, it never ended, and I always felt like I was just barely ahead of the curve, just barely able to keep the Horde at bay. And then, I made a mistake. Repair while it's going on. Hold on. Can't place it down. Wait, hold on. Place. Okay, good. Okay. I at least got a little bit of security back again. Dude, I cannot hit you in the face, man. Reload, okay, repair. Grenade! Ow. Oh, I am hurt. Okay. Take a painkiller. Okay. For the rest of the Horde, I didn't hold back, throwing everything I had at the never-ending onslaught of monsters at my front door. And then, 30 minutes before daybreak, it was done. Holy. forest was quiet and peaceful, as if the Horde had never existed in the first place. I was triumphant, but the severity of this Horde made me question whether I was ready for what comes next. But whether I was ready or not, the desert was waiting for me, and I couldn't keep it waiting. The day finally arrived, and it felt like any other post-Horde morning, but it was also so different. It was day 26, and so it was time to leave. This was the last time I would gaze on my home, swim in my river, walk across my bridge. It was a bittersweet moment, because even though I was once again going through mountains of loot and finding incredible things, I knew I wouldn't be doing this again. Not here. But with the sadness came an excitement for a new and unexplored land, for new challenges and enemies, obstacles to overcome, fears to face, and so many adventures just waiting to be had. So once all the loot was put up where it belonged, I took some time to pack my mini bike and inventory with everything I thought I would need to survive and live in the harsh environment of the desert. I took one last look at the place I'd called home for 25 days, and then I turned away and set off on my next big adventure.